Welcome into Yankees Unloaded. I'm Gary Sheffield Jr. With me is Jake Ellenbogen, my partner. Jake, it's basically Halloween. The Yankees were eliminated a long time ago. Cashman built a juggernaut that leaves now in the division series. We weren't even, Jake, would you even say, I don't even say we were close this year. This was actually my prediction, was that we would be eliminated at the beginning of the season in the division series. So it's been a while since we watched Yankees baseball, but regardless, we said we're going to be consistent. We were wondering what we were going to talk about, right? And we figured it out, right? We had to think it over. Thank you guys for being here. Of course, make sure you guys subscribe and like the video to help support the boys. We're discussing the idea of Jazz Chisholm being traded. He's off a 30-30 season, so I know he probably thinks he had a spectacular year. He's probably due for $200 million. I wasn't so thrilled. We'll obviously get into that. Jake will figure out exactly what you think about Jazz. We're going to do a little power ranking, a little fun game where we do a power ranking about our starting pitching, where you rank them going into the 2026 season. We're going to consider what we saw in October of this year. I mean, let's be honest, it does matter what we saw in the wild card against Boston with Cam Schlittler. We'll talk all of that. We'll put that all in order. And Jake, I'm curious to know how high you got Cam Schlittler. To begin with, we're also going to be discussing, and I think it's the last topic for us, is Aroldis Chapman saying that he would rather retire than ever put on pinstripes again. Obviously, pitched for the Boston Red Sox. He had a great year. I mean, there were some people, Jake, who was upset that we didn't say he was the reliever of the year. He was having the best relief season of that you saw at all. And I can honestly tell you, he pitched great. We'll dive into whether or not him saying that matters at all, whether or not he was a good teammate while he was here, if he pitched well in October. We're going to talk about all that. And, of course, we're going to give you the direct quote of what came out of his mouth, and you'll listen. So, Jake, Jazz Chisholm Jr., he's due $10.2 million in 2026. Now, that sounds like a lot of money in the real world, like for us jabronis. Let's be real, it's a lot. But to the New York Yankees and to the Dodgers and to the Mets and just teams that have money, that's not a ton. Like I said, 30-30 season, and they called it, I was reading some articles about it before we went live, and people called it a standout season. And I watched every single game, every single inning of Yankees baseball this year. I didn't feel like Jazz Chisholm stood out at all. I actually was much less impressed. His stats for 2024, he played 46 games, 176 at-bats. He hit 273. We really liked that version of Jazz Chisholm. We did. He was pretty strong. He walked 14 times. He struck out 45 times, and that's sort of the trend I'm getting at before I kick it off to you here, Jake. In 2025, he played 130 games. Dismal start. We all watched it. Jake, we were covering what it meant. He had 462 at-bats, so this was our first real taste of what Jazz is going to look like in New York, which, again, 30 home runs, 30 stolen bases. That's a good thing at its surface. He scored 75 runs. He drove in 80. He walked 58 times. He struck out, Jake, 148 times. Now, that's Jazz's game. It's boom or bust. Very new school, very, I hate to call it Kyle Schwarber-esque because Kyle Schwarber's the better player. He hit 242. Jazz Chisholm's too talented to hit 242 and be boom or bust. So, Jake, what's your takeaway about the rumors of the Yankees potentially dabbling with a Jazz Chisholm trade?
I think it makes sense for both sides, where both sides of the argument, where you can say keeping him makes sense, and I think trading him makes sense. This is about as high as his stock's going to be because we live in a world where he tied all second basemen for home runs. He tied Brandon Lau with 31. Yeah. So on one hand, people are going to look at that and be like, he did that in 130 games. That is one of the best, if not the best outside of Ketel Marte, second baseman in the league. And Gary, I got to be honest, there's a point to be made there. Jazz is really good defensively, and the second base crop in this league is just not that good. So it is one of those things, like, I think it's very similar to Austin Wells, where you're looking at him and you're like, he might be a top 5 catcher, like all things considered. And that's because the catcher, pool in the league is so bad. You know what I mean? So
no, I hear you. It makes sense. I'm trying.
that's the interesting thing. Looking at Jazz's on-base percentage, he is not first. He's in the top 10, but he's not first. So he's below Nico Horner. He's below Brendan Donovan. He's below Gleyber Torres, Bryce Terang, Jake Cronenworth, and Ketel Marte. Home runs, like I said, he's tied for first. So then you look at average, and this is where I think you are. He can't be hitting 242. You'd rather have the speed on the base paths over more home runs and hitting 242. You'd rather have him hitting 270. Well, 270 would have him hitting in the top 5 in batting average for the position. Currently, he's near the bottom. He's tied with Jackson Holliday. He's a better player than Jackson Holliday. He's going to hit a lot more home runs. He's a better defensive player. On-base percentage is a lot better, but that's where he's at batting average-wise. He's below Jake Cronenworth. He's below Otto Lopez. He's below Luis Garcia Jr., Gleyber Torres, Brandon Lau, Bryson Stott, Lennon Sosa, Jorge Polanco, Ketel Marte, Brendan Donovan, Bryce Terang, and Nico Horner, who, ironically, that was a player that the Yankees were interested in. And I thought rumors had it that he was probably going to end up with New York. He led all second basemen hitting 297. Right. Really what I'm getting at here is this second base crop is not great. It's just not. And I feel like for that reason, you could look at it in one of two ways. You could see it as this is the time to trade Jazz because Jazz just had 31 homers. And the batting average is probably going to go down if he continues to focus on that level of his game. He might even hit 40 next year. But if he's in 220, how much is that really going to help you out? Especially watching what the Blue Jays are doing. So that's one thing. On the other hand, because that'd be striking while the iron's hot in a weird way because, I don't think everybody has the same views as we do, Gary. I don't think people are looking across the league. I don't think, executives are like, what the Toronto Blue Jays are doing is the right thing. I still think people are stuck in their own ways with the home run ball, right?
I agree with you.
So that creates a huge opportunity to sell Jazz Chisholm to the highest bidder. But then on top of that, Jazz is still a top 5 second baseman. You could argue he might be number 2 behind Ketel Marte. You could argue. Do you want to do that? And then who's playing second base? Like, do you have a plan? So it's interesting. I personally don't. I like Jazz a lot. And as you know, I've gone to bat for him. But I'm with you when I say I need to see some improvement bat to ball contact. Because that is where I'm at. Where I can leave the 31 home runs. I don't want to say home runs don't matter, but 31 home runs in the grand scheme of things, does it really matter that much?
It matters in the regular season. I guess you can make that argument. I'm going to say this about Jazz. You're bringing up the 1v1 conversation of who's a better player at the individual position, right? You put up 30 home runs, you steal 30 bases, you have a good arm. You clearly can run, and you don't steal 30 bases. My daughter obviously is thrilled about Jazz being traded.
Nice.
It's unreal. But I think in the football terms, because, Jake, you're a big football guy.
Yes,
They call it scheme, right? Scheme. There was a time, right, the New York Football Giants had a player by the name of Saquon Barkley. And there were a lot of people at the time, even when he was playing there, they said, we're not exactly playing to his scheme, right? We're not investing in the offensive line the way that we should. We're not doing the best thing. Like, we're not putting the premium gas in the premium car. We're not really doing that. And then all of a sudden, he's a free agent. Everyone's wondering, well, you kind of have to re-sign Saquon Barkley, don't you? That's at least what majority of Giants fans were saying, Jake. And then all of a sudden, he signs with the Philadelphia Eagles, and I said, that's going to be a problem for the Giants. Because the scheme of what they're trying to do, which is to run the football, and the formation that they like to run from, works perfectly for Saquon. Perfectly. And when I watch the World Series, and I've watched every game, I'm a huge baseball fan, not just a Yankees fan. I wanted to see, and I wanted to have it just really encapsulate it for me. Wrap a bow on it. What works when it matters in the World Series? When there's a guy on second base, less than 2 outs, what type of hitter is coming through in the World Series? And you look up, you don't see a lot of 4 or 5 power bats that are hitting 245 in this year's World Series coming through. You really don't see that. You see a lot of Toronto Blue Jays pesky at bats. Still, they call it pesky, and they act like it's a bunch of jabronis doing it. No, it requires talent, right? You have to sign players who have ability to play that scheme. You can't just tell your players, we're going to play like a Clement. We're going to play like Bo. We're going to play like Vladdy Jr. You have to sign players that actually practice those habits. The Yankees don't do that. And I believe chasing just strictly talent in a vacuum and saying Jazz is a talented baseball player, he's got power, he's got speed, he's got the arm, he can move positions. If you look at baseball from that point of view, you will never become a winner. And that's what I view from Jazz Chisholm. If Jazz Chisholm was traded tomorrow, I'm not saying he will be, I'm not even saying it's probable that he's traded. I'm telling you I wouldn't lose an ounce of sleep because it would tell me that the Yankees know our commitment to stats of individual players is not going to be how we build this roster in 2026. You need to get great players. I would love a Kyle Tucker. I would love some of these great players that are available, but it's deeper than that, Jake. It's about scheme. How do the Jays play? How do the Dodgers play? You need to emulate that to some degree, and I don't think Jazz Chisholm is mature enough as a baseball player at this stage of his career to say, I need to play more like what they're doing and less of like what I'm doing, because I believe if Jazz was told this, he would take it as an insult. He would take it as what I do doesn't work and what they do does. How are you going to tell me that I'm a great player? And he would be right that he is a great player, but he's not an effective player when it actually matters, which is in October. So Jake, for me, I'm going to answer this as point blank as possible. I want this to be as simple as possible. Jazz Chisholm is a good individual baseball player. He doesn't help you when he needs him because he's not a good team baseball player. So I want to see what the Yankees do this offseason. I believe Jazz Chisholm will still be on this roster, but there's no doubt about it. When I read off the stats at the beginning of the show, when you've got a guy who strikes out 3 times as much as he walks, how can you go in October and expect him to grind out at bats similar to what you watch in Jays Dodgers series? You're not going to see that. It simply doesn't compute. So what they do with Jazz after a 30-30 season, I think you made a really good argument of why they would keep him, right? If you stack him up against other second basemen, he fares well. There's no doubt about that. But when it comes to winning, is he the style player that you want to tee up the guy behind him, right? Is he the type of guy who will give up his at-bat for the betterment of the team to diminish his stats, perhaps, right? Will he give up the home run ball and chasing arbitrary numbers because it's going to make him a lot of money? I'm not so sure. So, Jake, long story short, I'm not losing sleep if they trade him. I highly doubt they do, though.
Yeah, I think they're going to keep him, and I think they're probably going to let him go like Glaber went. I don't think they're going to sign him to a long-term deal. Unless he has some crazy season, I just don't see it. And
it would have to be a change of his mentality, not just instead of 30-30, 41-40, right? It can't be that. It can't be I went from 30-30 to 40-40. That's not what we're looking for here.
I hit 280. I stole a bunch of bases. I improved how many pitches I was seeing per plate appearance. It'd be like, and I mean, at the same time, it's the Yankees, and we're not talking about like the great era of the Yankees. Talking about the embarrassing Yankees right now. It's not us. So this is what you and I would probably do. The Yankees would probably see 40-40 and be like, yeah, well, we're going to pay you.
Oh, no doubt about it. And 40-40 is great. Like in surface,
course.
Right? At its surface, 40-40 is awesome. In his situation, 30-30 is a major accomplishment. As an individual, when you go into arbitration, you're going to get big money. Let's be real. You're going to get paid. At the second base position, you can play third base. You can flex out into the outfield. You're going to make a lot of money.
That's needs to be good an thing for him. By the way, with the stolen bases,
Can you believe this? Everyone's stealing bases.
It's as bad. I will say it's as bad as kicking in football right now. Because remember, they're like, oh yeah, we're gonna use new kicking footballs. Now it's like, oh, Another record broken. It's like, no. Brendan Aubrey is great for the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah.
But, like, guys are just bombing 60-plus yarders all of a sudden now that they fixed the footballs. Come on. And it's
Ronald
the same
Acuna Jr.
thing.
stole 70 bases. Okay.
Yeah.
So, guys.
It's the same thing with the stolen bases. If you're going to say
everyone's
you can only
stealing
throw
bases.
over twice, now every stolen base is going to be easy because now these guys are going to know, okay, he can't throw over. He can't throw over.
The aspect of that, knowing as a base runner, he could always be picking off right now, no matter what.
Always.
Just understanding that in the back of your mind it completely changes the dynamic of running. Now, again, from an entertainment standpoint, this is probably good for the game of baseball because you get to see more stolen bases. You get to see less players going, oh, I guess I walked. Now I'm going to wait for the next guy. Yeah, I'm going to see less station to station, less let me wait for the next guy to hit a 2-run home run. I'm going to get the ball rolling, get to second base, and I score on a bloop, I score on a single, whatever it is, right? Play at the plate. It's more exciting. So I have no problem with the rule change. But to go out there and just throw a ticker tape parade because somebody stole 30 bases in today's game is just nonsensical to me. I don't get it.
It is.
So Jake, I want to get to some of these super chats. You guys are awesome. So Jersey Girl, thank you for being in here. Jersey Girl says with a 2, I think we should go after Kyle Tucker. Gotta love that we... Well, hold on, Jake. Scott Ross has his name. Ninja Hot Dog has his name. And Jersey Girl doesn't.
I don't understand. I don't get it.
How?
Also, I'll complain real quick. YouTube is just out of its mind right now. I lost 400 subscribers on my Rams channel because they're just deleting inactive accounts. Mind you, all an inactive account is, you know what that means? Not a bot.
Does it mean you haven't used it in like what, 60 days, 90 days?
No, it just means you haven't commented.
Oh.
So you can literally just nonstop be watching videos and you just woke up one day and YouTube's like, yeah, you're an inactive account. It's like, I watch every day. No, didn't comment.
I think there's a lot of people who'd prefer just to watch. I mean, we tell people we would love for you to engage in our community, right? We see it from Jersey Girl. We see it from Ninja Hot Dog. We see it from Scott Ross. We see it all the time. But there are a lot of people who like to sit in the background and just listen, right? So there's nothing wrong with that. So, yeah. So definitely it's brutal. Jersey Girl with a 2 says, I think we should go after Kyle Tucker over Cody Bellinger. So
interesting.
Let's discuss this, right? Because John Heyman had something to say about it this morning. He said that Cody Bellinger is going to take a while, right? And that's to be expected. It's a Scott Boras client. This is not a surprise, right? He is already going to be opting out of that deal. We knew that was going to be happening. He had a really good year for the Yankees. He's proven he can play under the bright lights, right? That's what they like to call them. The bright lights in New York. He's proven that, right? His dad played there. He's got the lineage of playing for the Yankees. That's awesome. And you look up and say, he can play outfield at a high clip. He can play first base if we need him to in case of injury. He's really a nice safety net for the Yankees. That's the reason why a lot of people in our comments want him back. But then there's a player by the name of Kyle Tucker who, if you look at how he plays, because a lot of people would say, well, he had just a down year. We know he played through the hand injury, right? That's not a surprise to the two of us. We've talked about it on our show, Jake. But Kyle Tucker has never struck out over 100 times his entire baseball career, right? So when you talk about the style of what you're getting between these two players, Cody Bellinger doesn't strike out 200 times, but he's not putting the ball in play to the clip that Kyle Tucker is, who, by the way, had a great October of his own. So do you trust, because I know, Jake, you said the Yankees won't sign Kyle Tucker, and I would agree with you. I think it's unlikely, not because they think Kyle Tucker's a bad fit or a baseball player, but because this is the way Hal runs his baseball team. It's a tight ship, tight budget, and you sign Max Fried, you sign Rodon, you bring in some of these players. You bring in Ryan McMahon, $16 million on the books in 2026, $16 million in 2027. It affects the Yankees' pursuit of some of these players, and that will affect Kyle Tucker. So, Jake, do you look at this as a Kyle Tucker or Cody Bellinger situation? Or how are you looking at this right now as far as fit goes?
I mean, I'm with you when you say, it shouldn't be either or. It should be both. That's the Yankees, or at least it was the Yankees. I I kind of feel like, especially if the Dodgers lose, and it looks like they're going to, Kyle Tucker is going to be a Dodger. I mean,
Probably.
you know, I don't even think he's going to be a Met. Why would you want to be a Met? Like, if I'm being honest, why would you ever want to sign with the Mets? Why? The one thing they had going for them is that they got Juan Soto. Why would you want to sign with an organization that signs Juan Soto and then just sits on their hands and says, we got him and the Yankees didn't, and that's their entire offseason? Like,
and you can also argue the Yankees. You can argue because you bring up a great point. Mm-hmm. Why would you play for the Mets? Well, we'll not just stop at the Mets and pick on the Mets. Let's be even more fair.
Yeah, no, of course.
Why would you choose the Yankees over the Dodgers? Now the Dodgers again, they're playing this Jays Dodgers series is awesome. It's great baseball. Now, it's seeming like, and things can change in a hurry. We're talking about 2 games, game 6 and 7, right? Things can go any way.
Yeah.
But if the Dodgers lose and you join the Dodgers, if you're a Kyle Tucker, right, you're going to replace Michael Conforto on the roster. Wouldn't you expect that you're going to be participating in the World Series in 2026? Wouldn't that be your expectation? Probably, right? Most people thought the Dodgers were a shoo-in I said the Dodgers are going to win this series in 5 games, so I'm already wrong, right? And there are a lot of other people who are wrong about this, and I have no problem being wrong and enjoying it. But having said all of this, Kyle Tucker, and there are a lot of Yankees fans who are like, I don't want him. And then they're going to watch Kyle Tucker join a team, and they're going to watch him do what he does, which is put the ball in play and take quality at-bats in key situations. And they're going to continue to look at guys that are boom or bust. And there's my Roomba. Yeah, Jake, go ahead. My Roomba's freaking out.
Yeah, I wanted to actually say this. I still to this day have no idea what Juan Soto was thinking. Because remember he said he wanted to go to the Mets because he gave him the best chance to win. The Dodgers offered him $600 million. If he was actually smart, he would have chose the Dodgers.
If he was smart, he would have played for the Yankees knowing I'm a teammate with Aaron Judge, and we're probably coming out the AL if I'm on the team. But if I'm not on the team, their future isn't so bright, right? That's obvious. Mm-hmm. But if he goes to the Dodgers didn't need Juan Soto to get to where they needed to go to. Matter of fact, I think most people thought the Dodgers would win the World Series this year, coming into the year and in the middle of the year, whatever it was. You're going to get $600 million from a team you're probably going to win multiple World Series championships with. Probably a dumb decision to say, oh, yeah, it's about the future. No, it wasn't. So you said it was dumb. This was always going to be his choice. When we brought on Randy Miller on our show, and he said, oh, yeah, he was always going to the Mets. He's saying that because based on the information he was receiving, he was assuming he was going where the dollar was going. Yeah. So when you look up and Jersey Girl says, hey, Kyle Tucker over Cody Bellinger, the answer should be both of them. That should be the Yankees' answer. We bring in Cody Bellinger, and if Cody Bellinger in the outfield is crowded out there, right, you just have no spot for him because you want to see what Spencer Jones can do. You want to see Aaron Judge out there who could blame you. Cody Bellinger has a first base glove. Throw him over at first base, and guess where Ben Rice gets to go play? And guess who comes off the field? Mr. Austin Wells. Ben Rice is your catcher. Right? So things start to line up. If you just sign good players, things take care of themselves. So, Jersey Girl, don't blame you at all about Kyle Tucker. He's a great fit offensively for this team. Highly doubt it happens. Ninja Hot Dog with the 2 says Jazz is going to become a Cal Raleigh light, mega light.
Yeah, I mean, say what you will about Cal Raleigh. I'm still hitting 250 and has a 9-something OPS. Like, Jazz would need, so he hit 31 this year. How many did Raleigh hit? 60? 61 in the regular season?
Cal Raleigh light. I don't even, it's the biggest insult in the world to Cal Raleigh. The man hit half the amount of home runs that you hit. Cal Raleigh, by the way, you saw him in October. He was one of their best at-bats. So what he's doing and what other power hitters in the game that are hitting 250 are doing is completely different. Cal Raleigh is not even in the same dimension as Jazz Chisholm, with all due respect, because he may see this. I don't care. But
I like Jazz. I mean, if he sees it, I like him. But I just want him to change his approach. I mean, you know that.
Yeah, and it's not in the conversation of Cal Raleigh. Cal Raleigh, in our opinion, humble opinion, should finish second in the AL MVP. Nothing Jazz did this year. No one in our comments, I actually don't think I saw a single person in our comment section saying that Jazz Chisholm has entered the MVP conversation at any point. So, we won't call him Cal Raleigh light. We'll just agree that he's a power hitter that can run. And power hitters really don't translate in October as much as you'd think they would. So, I don't know. So, Ninja, really appreciate the super. Scott Ross, who found a way to crack the YouTube algorithm and he got his name in there. Scott Ross, thank you for the support. Thank you for the 5. Says, Gary, I agree with your analysis, but the infield as a whole is a train wreck and not sure you can improve by trading him. So he's talking about trading Jazz. How does it improve the infield room? I will tell you, it's not about improving at each position. It's about improving, and this is just my opinion, it doesn't mean it's right, but it's about improving how the team plays, their style, more contact-oriented, right? Playing, with more accountability. Watching these Jays at-bats, we need more at-bats like that. So I don't think having Jazz Chisholm on your roster helps you accomplish that. So I'm not trying to necessarily stack it like an 09 infield lineup. I'm trying to go out there and say, this team's more fundamental. They put the ball in play more often. And, who knows how well, how much I like this infield, this whole group. But I'm just not sure if Jazz has it really in him to make that change.
No, I mean, I get that. I think, it's weird, man. I'm at the point and understand where I'm coming from here because I could say the same thing about the Bellinger-Tucker thing. They can do either or, and I'm going to be okay. If they get Bellinger and Tucker's not a Yankee, I've already accepted Tucker's not going to be a Yankee, so that won't shock me in the slightest, and I love Bellinger. Yeah. But if, say, Bellinger, because of who he has representing him, becomes a problem, and they can't make it work, and then all of a sudden they're like, all right, we're pivoting to Kyle Tucker, and then they get Kyle Tucker, I'm not going to sit there and complain about that.
Oh, God, no. Neither of us would complain because it's a commitment towards a solution. We both want, let's be honest here. We both want Cody Bellinger back on this roster.
Of course.
We both want Kyle Tucker on this roster, but
yes.
Kyle Tucker is unlikely because of what he's going to cost. It shouldn't be a factor, but we both know it is. Everyone in this comment section knows it's a factor. And then there's people in our comments. I'm reading each and every one of them, right? I see it. That Jazz is not a serious baseball player, right? That Jazz is not...
the point, though, that I was trying to make was that with Jazz, by the way, I'm fine with whatever they choose to do because if they keep him, I believe in Jazz. I do. Okay. But if they don't keep him, then I know it's the Yankees, but I feel like they have to have some sort of plan that I'm going to like if they're getting rid of Jazz. Because Jazz, especially in the iteration he currently is exactly what really Yankees baseball has been, and that's been a big issue for us in like talking about the home run or nothing.
Yes.
And so if they were to move on from Jazz this year, that would almost indicate that maybe they're trying to go in the direction of the Blue Jays and try to go more contact friendly. Which
is ironic because I hate when people say that there's a problem, they don't offer a solution. So I'm glad you brought it this direction. Mm-hmm. My solution, right? Because people are like, who the hell are you going to replace Jazz with, right? You're giving up 30-30. He's not the style you love, but you can't just say that's not the style and then not provide a solution. Here's my solution. Remember when everyone told me that Bichette was not a good enough shortstop to play short for the Yankees? They said that, right? Mm-hmm. They said the bat is not a problem, right? He's a 290 hitter. He can hit 300. You saw it this year. Really put it together. He acclimated himself immediately into the World Series, and good for him. I was rooting for him to get healthy. I would put him at second base. There you have it. There's my answer. I put Bichette, and again, he has to agree to it. The Yankees have to put forward the money. It's not my call. I have no impact on it whatsoever. But if you're going to tell me a guy's not a good enough shortstop, right? Anthony Volpe, Bichette, whoever it is, Ellie De La Cruz, they can play second base. And if they're an offensive asset, you have no problem with their bat. They're stylistically more what you're looking for rather than a Jazz. Jake, there you have it. There's my answer. I go Bichette. I move Jazz Chisholm because if you look at the rest of the league, There are a lot of people who say, oh, we could use 30-30. They'd put butts in the seats. It would be exciting. He's not going to help you win in October, but he's exciting in May. He's very exciting. Jazz is a fun baseball player to watch.
By the way, how good Bo Bichette was this year? I don't think they do. I actually have his monthly splits for you.
Nope.
So as long as you can, take a kind of a down June, hit 259, had a 687 OPS. I mean, if Volpe hit that, we'd be happy. But that was his down June, right? And yeah, like he had a May where he hit 261, but he had an 838 OPS.
Yep.
After that, Gary, he hit 357 and had a 941 OPS in July. He hit 367 in August and had a 948. And then September, before he went down with the injury, had a 474 average and had a 1500 OPS. And then does not play for over a month. And he's hitting 313 in the World Series. So the OPS isn't there. That's fine.
We couldn't care less.
Doesn't matter.
It's the style of how he's playing.
Yes.
The Jays knew it's not about RBIs and runs. Like, yeah, you need a score. That's the game. That's how this game works. But he's exactly the type of at-bat that the Jays are looking for. That's why he's there. That's why the Jays said, we want Vladi Jr. He's the perfect superstar. He accomplishes what we're looking to accomplish, which is putting the ball in play, not striking out, not giving up at-bats. Bo Bichette is perfect. And by the way, I do see it already. People are like, how are you going to get Bo Bichette? Guys, the New York Yankees traded for Juan Soto, right? Everyone's like, oh my God, he's built for New York. Built for New York. Where's he going? He's going nowhere. And Mets fans were like, oh, we're going to get him for money, right? We're going to outbid the Yankees. The New York Yankees won a pennant with him in the outfield. Juan Soto and Aaron Judge are sitting here doing handshakes all year long, putting crowns on each other's heads. You're like, these dudes love each other. They win a pennant, and they turn around and Juan Soto signs with the New York Mets, who had won 82 games.
He doesn't even talk to Judge about it.
Doesn't talk to Aaron Judge. It's not even a conversation. There are people who think Bo Bichette, and by the way, Bo Bichette very well could just re-sign with the Jays. It's certainly a possibility. Yeah. I mean, let's be real. But you mean to tell me people thought Alex Bregman wouldn't finish his career with the Astros? You mean to tell me that people thought that Carlos Correa would just be sent packing from the Astros? That all these George Springer, who killed us when playing for Houston, they weren't going to bring him back? They had no aspirations to bring back a Garrett Cole. Garrett Cole just runs to their rival in the New York Yankees. Guys, players can be had for money. That's why there's free agency. So again, Bo probably loves playing in Toronto. I have no doubt about that. But that's where you have to be the New York Yankees and give him an offer he can't refuse because it fits what you're trying to accomplish down the road. I think Bo Bichette's perfect for second base in New York. And again, I have no confidence whatsoever that they'll do anything like this to change how they're going about their business. But this is what I would do.
No, I mean, I get that. I honestly, Bo Bichette makes sense. It's funny, if you say it fast enough, it sounds like Boba Fett.
Yes, it does.
But no, like I see in the comment section, Brendan Donovan. He'd also. I feel like our audience right now has the same. We're on the same wavelength. Because
do you think the Jays winning is helping?
Yes.
The average base, like our audience or not, right? If you talk to the average Yankees fan 3 years ago, I think the average Yankees fan, right? Or just somebody you walk out into the bleachers in center field and you said, hey, what do you think about this guy? He hit 35 homers. He struck out 190 times. They'd be like, oh, he's awesome, right? You probably wouldn't tell him he struck out 190 times. But I think the average Yankees fan or fan of baseball would be like, oh, that dude hit 40 homers. He's great. Why wouldn't you want him? But I think now we're starting to see a change in mentality from Yankees fans, especially our audience, let's be real, that maybe we shouldn't stare so hard at homers, ribbies, right? Maybe we should look a little bit harder at strikeout totals, right? Hit totals, defensive metrics, right? Some of those things where you say that guy's a well-rounded baseball player that I would trust in October. And the Jays have a lot of those, a lot of them. That's why I want to pick one of them off and get him to second base in New York, which, I mean, a lot to be desired here. Jersey Girl with the 5. 2026 is going to be the same shit. Journeyman, scrubs, old-ass vets, and then hustle. Come trade deadline to string something together and Band-Aid solutions. Oh, my. You know, it is really funny. It seems like the deadline is a way for us to hustle, right? We get Jazz Chisholm. I think, Jake, you and I both loved that trade at the time. I mean, it really did work out for the Yankees. It helped a ton.
I still love the trade. I love that they were aggressive and they didn't give up a ton for him. Because we were talking about it all year. I mean, Agustin Ramirez, best of luck to him. Nothing against him, but he basically isn't going to be a catcher his whole career. Like, he's probably going to move over to first base or be a DH for most of his career.
He's Gary Sanchez behind the plate.
Yeah. So, I mean, and like we talk about the power, and yeah, when he hits one out, it looks like it's crazy. But how many home runs do you have? Like 18? You know what I mean? But then
it's
again,
about what your average at bat. Yeah, it's about what your average at bat looks like, right? So people saw the grand slam from Volpe in the World Series last year, and they're like, "Oh my God, this guy's awesome!" It's like, did you watch him for 6 months like I did?
No,
because he's not. And then we walked into this year hoping for the best. We're rooting for him. It didn't work, right? And he had the surgery, but hustling at the deadline, that shouldn't be necessary. Mm-hmm. And so you can really take care of that need by doing what you need to do in the winter, right? Kyle Tucker can be had. Bichette can be had. Cody Bellinger can be had. There's talent out there that can be had for money, and you don't have to give up a single prospect to do it. So, yeah.
Yeah.
And Jake just texted me and said, we've got 2 voicemails. Which,
yes.
How many did we have before the show? Did we have 0?
We had 0.
We had 0.
Zero.
Gotta love it.
Leo, well, yeah, I think we hit that at the same time.
Yes.
Leo, thank you for the super. Trade Jazz, Will Warren, Spencer Jones, and Ben Rice for Ketel Marte and Corbin Carroll. I think you need a lot more than that to get Corbin Carroll and Ketel Marte.
We'd probably have to send them $200 million in a duffel bag. They're okay. So let me just get out from. So Leo, first and foremost, thank you for the super. We both really appreciate it.
Yes, of course.
Trading Jazz is a matter of how much you prioritize power, right? Hitting home runs in the regular season.
All of those would get you Ketel Marte and probably more, but
yes,
Corbin Carroll is how you trade for Paul Skeens without having to give up a whole boatload of guys.
We're not getting Corbin Carroll.
No.
So it's not happening. So
you would be so ecstatic. That's like one of your favorite players.
He's one of my favorite players. It would accomplish the Yankees you'd never have to wake up and say who's hitting leadoff for the Yankees. I mean, this is similar to the reason why I want the Yankees. I mean, Quan would be my number 1 pick, but I want the Yankees to figure out what they're doing at the leadoff position. When we turn up the lineup, right? We turn that around to the leadoff spot. I want to love who's walking up to the plate. I want it to be one of the top 3 choices to take an at bat. And I promise you, Trent Grisham is not one of my top 3 choices to take an at bat come October. It was a joke. So wasting those, 4 of those at bats a postseason game was sort of the reason we're sitting here not covering baseball right now. We're covering chatter from Aroldis Chapman. So yeah,
are we even covering that? I mean, not really, because we had plans for 3 topics, and we literally the whole show has been Jazz, which is great because we can pretty much end it on super chats.
So Leo.
Voicemails, but
yeah, Leo, we really appreciate it. So thank you for the super. Let's get to those 2 voicemails. I'm ready.
Yeah, and then we'll call it a night.
Cool.
I just gotta do that, and then
So you can take a look at our Yankees Unloaded page.
Yep. So be sure to like and subscribe. No, you guys already know.
Yeah, make sure you don't dox these people. Perfect.
Yeah. And there we go.
Welcome to the off-season. Happy Halloween, and there's our voicemails, people's phone number.
Yep. Prank call now. So this is Buzz Lightyear, Kyle Malay.
Kyle, let it fly. I hear nothing.
You don't hear anything?
Nope, I hear nothing. I take it no one else can hear anything, but no, I don't hear anything.
Okay. Oh, okay, I figured it out.
Cool.
Hey guys, Kyle Malay here. Just watching your show right now. I didn't know you guys were going live tonight, but this is what I want
Every
to see
Thursday.
the lineup that's next year. I was thinking about this today, and I sent it to my brother, and it's not going to happen because there's players on here that I don't think we're actually going to get. But this is what my lineup would be. It would be Bichette at shortstop, Bellinger at first, Judge at right, Tucker at left field, Stanton at DH, Jazz at second base, Bregman at third base, Dominguez in center field, and Wells at catcher. And then the pitchers would be, well, it's not going to be start the season, but in the middle of the season, Cole, Scooble.
Oh, yeah, it's not happening.
Rodon would be fourth. Freed, then Rodon, but you're going to have to split those up with a righty, and Slittler. They'll probably split them up somehow like that. But tell me what you think about that. Also, I think the Dodgers, they're going to win tomorrow night because they got Yamamoto on the mound. But then it's going to be all hands on deck on Saturday. And I think the Dodgers are going to come back and win this.
Okay.
I just can't stand the Blue Jays. But tell me what you think about that lineup for next year. And that's not even with Ben Rice in it, but there's really not much space for Ben Rice unless you trade Wells and then use Rice as a catcher. That would be good too. But tell me what you think about that. You guys have a good show, and go Yankees.
So, Jake,
I don't think very good off season. Come on, Hal. Where's Hal?
I thought Kyle was gone there.
That just kept going.
all of us would love that, right? We would love to get Scooble. Scooble's in the last year of his deal, so he can be had for much less than what people think, right? Similar to how we got Juan Soto.
Scooble. Now just wait for the people in the comments who we said Scooble wrong.
Clip that.
I think Scooble. I don't know how I haven't messed that up.
Now
before.
Scooby Dooby Doo, you can trade it for him.
Yeah. I think that is real. I think that is a real trade that can happen. I really think the Yankees can pull that off because I think it's very similar to the Soto deal. But
yes.
when I heard Bregman and Tucker and Bellinger and Bichette, do you know how much money they'd have to spend to make that work? They'd never do that. They should,
so their
but
payroll.
never do that.
So let's just pretend, okay? Because the most improbable part of that hypothetical, Kyle, wasn't Scooble. Tarek Scooble is one of the best pitchers in the league, right? He's probably a notch down below Skeens, but he's incredible, right?
He's awesome.
Awesome. That's not even close to the most improbable thing you said. The most improbable thing you said was that the Yankees are going to go get Alex Bregman. The Yankees, now mind you, I would love it. Love it. They traded for Ryan McMahon, and Jake and I sat there and looked at each other and goes, are you joking me? Before they ever made the trade, we brought multiple, because we wanted to bring on, right, John Morosi, Randy Miller. We wanted to know, what's the temperature in the room? Are they seriously considering Ryan McMahon? We hate this move. Hate it. We weren't hindsight Hanks and just dunking on moves that Cashman was making. Go back and watch the tape. We didn't like the move before. They brought him in here to pay him $16 million this year, $16 million next year, and $16 million the year after that. That's going to impact going to get a player like Alex Bregman to play the same position. They're not doing that. Here to tell you right now, they're not. Unless they're playing him at shortstop, which I would be very shocked by that. But I mean, I guess I've been surprised before. Mookie Betts is playing shortstop right now and playing it well. But unless the Yankees are deciding that Bregman's going to play short, they're not signing him. And also, he had Kyle Tucker. Kyle Tucker is going to make roughly, because this is the way I look at the contracts, is how much do you make annually? How much do you make a year? He's going to make about $40 million in 2026, roughly. The Yankees have, Jake, what was the number we had? $75 million annually to put on their budget to get to where they normally get to, which is about $290 to $300 million. Well, they're not getting Bellinger, Tucker, Bregman. Their payroll probably would look something like $330 or $340 million. Hal Steinbrenner has never in his history shown he's willing to do it, so why would I believe he's going to do it now? So I'm sorry, Kyle. Your dream is dead on arrival.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. I keep seeing Drew in our comment section. He seems really confident it's going to be Kyle Tucker and they're going to let Bellinger walk.
Okay.
I can almost see that just because I've been covering sports, we'll just say, a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And what I have learned is that an offseason you go into and a move that just feels like can't miss, so obvious, right? Like a re-signing, whatever it is. Sometimes crazy shit happens. And Bellinger, I feel like we've all kind of already penciled him in the Yankees lineup. And with Scott Boras as his agent, anything can happen. And not everybody is Altuve to the point where they're going to be like, yeah, just make me a Yankee. I don't care how it's done. Take less if you have to. I want to be a Yankee, right? Because Altuve did that with the Astros. So I mean, if they lose Bellinger, I think Tucker does become a possibility. It's not impossible. I would say it's improbable that they're going to get Kyle Tucker.
So if they lose Bellinger,
impossible.
So if they lose Cody Bellinger, right, which would still not be a good thing. So even though Cody Bellinger, he didn't play well in October. I mean, we're not going to sugarcoat that. He didn't play well. If they lost him, he was our second best player this year.
Yeah.
If he was off the team, what he did defensively in left field, I mean, we saw him save games in Boston. We saw all that. If he was off the team, and you're still saying it now makes Kyle Tucker from an impossibility to just possible, not likely, but possible. If the Yankees don't get Tucker or Bellinger, what are we doing?
Yeah.
What's the future look like? I mean, are you kidding?
Aaron Judge is going to be pissed. I feel like he's done a nice job of kind of staying calm, but there are a few times, he even said during the deadline, he's like, yeah, he was basically saying, I'd like to go out and get more guys. I hope they add more guys at the deadline.
We're turning into the Milwaukee Bucks, where they win the championship, or obviously in our case, we just get to the World Series, and then afterwards it's like,
no,
what are you doing?
Who we sound like?
Who?
The Minnesota Vikings. Oh, Sam Darnold played well for you, and you got a quarterback. Yeah, so we're not going to pay you. We're actually going to go with this young kid, who has injury concerns.
Yep. Oh, out of Michigan. Yeah.
Yeah, and our star receiver is going to hate his life so much, he's probably going to demand a trade by the end of the year. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I did see some of the coverage. They were talking about the Dodgers and Ohtani and just sort of how that dynamic's working out. To win a World Series, you have to put a group together, an entire group. People can say what they want of Judge has got to win a ring. Aaron Judge has an impact on the Yankees' their chances to win a championship, but this isn't the NBA. This is, I promise you guys, it's not that. You have to put together a great group, and when you consistently, Juan Soto puts together a year the way he did, you lose the player. We offered a lot of money, but we still didn't get the player, right? So it hurts us. Then you go into the following year, a player that you traded, you got rid of Cody Poteet and just took on his contract. The Cubs didn't want his deal in Cody Bellinger. Too much money. $25 million a year for a player who's not going to hit 30 homers. They didn't think he would, at least. And he hits 29 for us. And then he's at Yankee Stadium, so that certainly helped. But Jake, to go out there and have a guy that you just picked up go out and be your second best player, and then you lose him, and you don't get the best guy out on the market when you're the New York Yankees, it's a problem. As a podcaster, it's a problem for us. It's not good for us. It's not good for Hal Steinbrenner and his pockets as much as people may think it would be. It's just not. It's not a good business strategy. Sometimes you just got to go out there and get the star players. It's what the Dodgers are doing. It's what the Jays were trying to do, right? They went out and got Santander. They threw $700 million at Ohtani, right? They went out and they gave $500 million to Vladimir Guerrero Jr., a player that a lot of people thought would leave. The Jays have thrown money around, and they have no problem doing it because they like the players they've got on the field. So, Jake, long story short, the Yankees have to land one of the two, in my opinion. It's a must.
Yeah. And then let's pivot here back to, let's just take care of this super, and then we'll get back to the voicemail. The last one,
Sure.
Ninja Hot Dog.
Cool.
My mom's favorite holiday is Halloween, the one day her son is a doctor.
So have you just disclosed to us what you're going to be for Halloween this year? I didn't get a Halloween costume. My daughter is only, she's about 15 months. She's not ready for trick-or-treating, but she will be next year. So
That's awesome.
I don't know. Maybe I'll trick-or-treat as, I feel like I should be Brian Cashman for Halloween next year.
Shave your head.
Yes. I'm going to shave my head.
Wear an egg. Like over your head, like Humpty Dumpty. There you go.
Yeah, and I'll be in a sleeping bag just walking down the street. People are going to be like, what the hell is this guy doing?
You're also in Arizona, so people are not going to know what you're doing.
I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to wear... Do you remember when he went scaling on the buildings? Like when he goes like... You remember when he does that? He scales down like a skyscraper?
That's insane.
I'm going to have like equipment to climb and scale. And I'm going to be wearing a sleeping bag and be bald with a hoodie on.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
You've always wanted to be bald.
No, I haven't.
Yes, you have. You've always wanted... You've
bald?
mentioned being bald so much.
No. No.
I
did notice though that my dad he has grayed quite a bit. So that seems like that's part of my future, I guess, is gray hairs. My wife found a single strand of gray hair on my head. So it's time for me to get a sponsorship for this podcast from what would it be? It's not Bosley. Yeah, Just for Men. There you go.
Just for Men, touch of gray. I don't know. I got gray hair. It's all good. By the way, didn't exist until I started covering the Yankees. So
that's fair. You're not going to age. This show's not going to help you. When it comes to aging. So, let's get to our final. Who's our final voicemail, by the way? Is it Chris? I'm going to guess.
It is Ninja Hot Dog.
Ninja Hot Dog. Let it fly.
Ninja here. I'm just doing this now because I forgot about the stream. However,
unbelievable.
I did hear about the Jazz rumors, and I'm going to say a maybe controversial take. I do think that Jazz should be traded. The reason why is because he's a talented guy. No one's the guy saying, I'm not feeling well. He's talented, but he's just not very disciplined. And I think that he's got that arrogance in him of going out there and talking up how great he is and how cool he is and playing with that sort of cockiness. But then when the time comes, he just doesn't perform nearly well enough, and he doesn't take accountability for it. The accountability is really the big thing. He goes out there and says, yeah, I do better when I'm swinging 70%, and then he does that for like 2 days, and then all of a sudden he's back to Babe Ruth power, and it doesn't work, and it won't work, and the fundamentals aren't really there either. I feel like he's getting a bit of the Volpe curse lately too, so I think we have to sell high on Jazz and start prepping for maybe Lombard. We'll see. Fire Baboon.
It's funny. It's so funny because I feel like he said Lombard at the end, but I don't know because the what the hell is it called? What is it called when they transcription? There we go. It says baby Walmart.
I feel like Jazz is kind of part of the unseriousness of the Yankees today. Like I actually think he's a good baseball player. I actually really do. I just don't think he fits what I'm looking for in baseball players, which is being serious, right? Like that's sort of what I'm here to tell you right now. Jazz is on Twitter. Just like he's just tweeting. Like I don't know if it like really fits the vibe of what you're looking for when it's like Jazz is having Twitter beefs August, in late October. He's just like, he's tweeting, and I don't know a grown man that comes on social media and cry for something that ain't his. Both weird energy. What? What are we talking about?
Yeah,
like it to me, it just seems like this is more about like being cool and just kind of sticking out rather than creating a culture that cares about winning more than. And I'm not telling you that to win you have to get off Twitter, because Cam Schlittler was tweeting during the wild card when we beat Boston, and I loved every second of it. Mm-hmm. But that's tweeting in hindsight of things happening well. But to go out and we just get eliminated, and like what you do right after that is hop on Twitter, I don't like it, man. And I'm not telling you it's my way or the highway. This should be the rule, but I don't like the vibe of Jazz. I don't. I think he's a good baseball player. I was happy when we traded for him. I couldn't wait to see how his game would shift here in New York. 30-30 is really impressive. I'm more looking for Jay's type at bats, as you like to call them, Jake. He doesn't help me accomplish that. He's more cool. He's Ken Griffey Jr. personality, not Ken Griffey Jr. talent.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I do want to defend Jazz because I feel like he's kind of being picked on, not by you, but just in general. I feel like he's kind of being scapegoated here, and he's better than most guys on the roster. So, yeah, I have issues with some of the things, but even though Jazz is, a slugger and he's not quite playing to his strengths, we'll say, I at least recognize, he is one of the better players on this team, and I feel like it's kind of low-hanging fruit just because of the way he carries himself, like wearing the chains and all of that. I feel like people kind of go after him because he's against.
It's Marcus Stroman. It's really the offensive version of Marcus Stroman. Marcus Stroman was a really good pitcher in this league as well, and he still was picked on. I don't know if it's
quite that, though, because Marcus Stroman was kind of an asshole, like interview-wise, and I don't feel like Jazz has ever been an asshole. I think Jazz has just had his moments where he's like, yeah, he'll say something on Twitter or whatever.
Not about being an ass. It was more about there's a way to move around where you you basically make yourself a target. Mm-hmm. And Marcus Stroman did both. He made himself a target, right? We saw ground balls to Anthony Volpe, and we all disliked how Volpe played shortstop. But as a starting pitcher, when a ground ball is hit to a player of you, a teammate of yours, and you're like, oh, it was, who it was? It was Gleyber Torres. And he's like, throw the damn ball, right? You're mouthing that. You very clearly know we're going to see that, right? And you know this. That's a bad look. And so it creates a target on your back. And then he's like, oh, I don't understand why no one likes me. What do you mean you don't understand? That's why. Jazz Chisholm is disliked for a reason that has nothing to do with those things. He's a good teammate. None of that's an issue. It's more about the seriousness of how he plays and, of course, the style. Jazz is incredibly talented. He's committed to playing the style that Yankees fans want to get away from. So that's the reason why he's picked on, is because he's the only person that you can actually get something for out on the market. Really, I think if he ended up turning around, I know we said Austin Wells is super valuable out on the market, but if you look up and say, hey, Anthony Volpe, who again is trying to play like Jazz Chisholm, he wants to hit 30 bombs, he'll hit 240. Anthony Volpe's not netting you a whole lot out on the market. He's really worthless. Jazz Chisholm is worth a ton out on the market. As you put it, you said that there's an argument he's the second best second baseman in the game. You're right.
Yeah.
But is this the direction that the Yankees want to go? I think he'll be on the team in 2026. I don't think they're going to trade him. I think it's too bold of a move to make, and I don't think Brian Cashman's really that bold of a GM. So I expect him to be back. So guys, get comfortable watching Jazz. Hopefully his game can transform at least a little bit into next year and become maybe that contact bat we were looking for.
Yeah, and I also want to see them go after Okamoto. That's what I want. So
yeah, and we'll talk about him at depth, by the way. We're gonna discuss all Japanese players, what their fit would be for the Yankees, because we're not gonna talk about players that the Yankees have no interest in. We're gonna get together a list of Japanese players that are coming over to the big leagues in 2026, and we're going to discuss them at length. So if you guys would enjoy something like that, obviously we'll be releasing that video not too long from now. But Jake, anything else?
That's going to do it. We appreciate you guys. This is going to end up over an hour on a show that we honestly weren't even sure what we were going to do. So we really do appreciate you. This doesn't happen without you guys. This community is insane. It's absolutely ridiculous. This right here, we just talked for an hour about a hypothetical trade, essentially. It's just insane. There's no news, right? Nothing new happened. So we really do appreciate you guys. Thank you for showing up, showing out. And we'll see you guys next Thursday. We'll probably hit up a video or something before then.
Yeah. And make sure you guys subscribe. And before you guys go, make sure you like the video. And Jake, what do we want them to put in the comment section? Anything?
Just put keep or trade. So if you want to keep Jazz, say keep. If you want to trade Jazz, say trade. Let's keep it simple.
Yeah, love that. Keep or trade. Like the video.